Chapter 41 Killing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaofei was holding his number plate and waiting around. At this time, a ring match was going on in the city of slaughter. Xiaofei sat in the stands and carefully observed the fight between several people. These people fought very simply. After they had no soul rings, basically no one would use soul skills. Most of them fought with swords. It was Xiaofei's match soon. Xiaofei walked onto the ring and felt that there seemed to be some kind of sucking power on the ring, which made people's blood boil even more. Xiaofei walked on the ring alone, ignoring the 9 people around him. For Xiaofei, who had already completed the beast transformation of his limbs without using soul skills, it seemed to be a bug in the city of slaughter. On the ring, the remaining 9 people were quickly killed by Xiaofei. Xiaofei activated his mental power and carefully felt the bodies of the 9 people. He felt that the blood of the 9 people was gradually disappearing, and the ground of the ring was absorbing this blood. Could this be the source of Bloody Mary? Xiaofei shook his head a little puzzled and walked off the ring. For the next period of time, Xiaofei almost had a ring match every 3 to 5 days. Most of the people who died at the hands of Xiaofei were those who attacked him. In just a few days, there were no less than 100 people. Time passed quickly, and a year passed quickly. During this year, Xiaofei was fighting all the time. There were all kinds of dangers in the killing city, including food, threats from the crowd, and even many sieges by many people. These were easily resolved by Xiaofei. There seemed to be some kind of toxin in the air of the killing city, which seemed to affect people's mental power and also guided people to kill. With the spiritual wisdom skull, Xiaofei was less affected by the spirit, and the right leg bone of the blue silver emperor was the best healing medicine, which could recover the fastest even if injured. During this year, Xiaofei participated in an astonishing 61 killing games. During this year, Huliena and Tang San also came to the killing city one after another. Tang San's name was Qianshou Shura, the fox's name was Hell Messenger, and Xiaofei's name was Phoenix Slaughter. During this period, Huliena had approached her to form an alliance, and Xiaofei himself expressed his willingness to accept it, but Xiaofei gave Huliena a feeling of obvious distrust. For Huliena, one of the 3 obvious pitfalls of the spirit hall, making friends is a must, but trust is impossible. Of course, Xiaofei has a similar attitude towards Tang San. You can make friends but you can't trust. In the following year, the most difficult thing for Xiaofei was not the battle in the hell-killing field, but the problem of finding someone to pair up with. To participate in the hell-killing field, you need to have 10 people to participate in the competition each time. When Xiaofei participated in the competition, it was basically difficult for other people to sign up, which made Xiaofei very depressed. Time was spent in waiting and practicing. Sitting cross-legged in the hut where he lived, Xiaofei's body kept sending waves of cold chills. With the increase in the number of victories, Xiaofei's murderous aura became stronger and stronger. The huge murderous aura seemed to condense into every cell of his body, into his blood, and into his bone marrow. At the same time, the bloodthirsty emotion in his body was revealed, but as time went on, the murderous aura became more and more obvious. It seemed that he wanted to kill any creature he saw, and killing a person at will was as simple as crushing an ant. When he won 99 games, the murderous aura on his body was close to materialization, as if he was about to turn into a killing. This feeling is a bit like the evil fire he had before, which also affected him. The evil fire is more on the martial soul, while the murderous aura seems to be of a higher level and has a greater impact on the mind. Suddenly, Xiaofei thought of the test of the sea god. The first level of the sea god test is the light of the sea god, and the first level of the Shura god is to obtain the killing god domain in the killing city. If you think about it carefully, it is a bit similar. They all change the quality of the body through divine power. And the murderous aura in the killing city should also be a kind of divine power. As a killing god, you must fully master the killing aura. Otherwise, it is easy to lose yourself. Therefore, Xiaofei has been using his body to feel and adapt to the killing aura recently. In the previous life, in various mythological stories, the Buddhist Zen enlightenment and the Taoist heaven and earth perception seem to have similar effects, so, after the 99th victory, Xiaofei locked a person in his room, and used his heart to feel his own body and his martial soul, just like a Buddhist meditation. Finally, when Xiaofei finally calmed down, he started to sign up for his 100th challenge. When Xiaofei completed the challenge, there was endless cheering from the audience. "Congratulations, young Phoenix Slayer." A deep and sharp voice suddenly came from all directions. The murderous aura released from Xiaofei actually poured back at the moment the voice sounded and was pressed back into his body. Xiaofei's face suddenly turned pale, the atmosphere in the hell-killing field suddenly rose to the extreme, because in the air, a blood-red figure was falling from the sky. "King of killing, king of killing, king of killing." The shouting made the fallen people hoarse, but they had no intention of stopping. I saw a scarlet figure appear in the air. The man was very tall, and his whole body was wrapped in a huge scarlet cloak. Pale face, a pair of completely blood-red eyes, and a pair of scarlet blood wings on his back. Xiaofei knew that this was the King of Slaughter's eyes fell on the viewing platform of the hell-killing fields. I am very happy to witness the birth of a strong man in the killing field today. Yum Sheng, who has not appeared for decades, is shown in this young man. With his powerful strength and terrifying murderous intent, he will make you trembling, aren't you? My people. Yes, yes, yes. The King of Slaughter seems to have a unique charm that makes all the fallen have an almost crazy worship after seeing him. The King of Slaughter lowered his head, looked at Wang Xiaofei and said, "Phoenix Slaughter. Thank you for making me feel the existence of passion again." Yum, very good. In order to commend your achievements, I decided to grant you the title of God of Killing. From now on, you can enter and exit the Killing City on your own, and be hired as a guest of the Killing City under you. Xiaofei refused. "Thank you, the great King of Slaughter. You cannot break the rules of the Slaughter City because of me. I hope to walk out of here on my own strength and become a real god of slaughter. Moreover, I came here just to take the road to hell." Xiaofei ignored the advice and solicitation of the King of Killing. The King of Slaughter said with an obviously cold tone, "In that case, then you can go to hell. I hope you can pass the test and become the new god of killing." Thick red mist was suddenly released from the King of Slaughter. The evil cold red ripples slowly spread out, spreading to the entire place in almost a few blinks of an eye. The degenerates sitting in the audience were all surprisingly excited. They all wanted to see the road to hell open. However, what they don't know is that their lives have come to an end. Except for the God of Death and the King of Slaughter, no one has ever seen the road to hell open. Because everyone who saw it died. In other words, they all became sacrifices to open the road to hell. The fallen who were cheering crazily followed the red light and landed on. The viewing platform gradually became quiet, and the eyes of each fallen person gradually became dull, and then turned from dull to bloodshot red. Not long after, when the red light formed a huge barrier in the entire hell-killing field, painful screams began to sound from the people who were first exposed to the red light. The skin of the killers present was rolled up and blood was everywhere. They even had their own internal organs ripped out of their bodies. The whole madness would not stop until the end of their lives. More and more degenerates undergo such changes, until they spread to the entire place. The blood fell to the ground and began to condense. A large amount of blood flowed like small streams along the inconspicuous small pipes under the auditorium to the center of the killing field. It was clearly visible that countless winding red liquids flowed into the field like little snakes. It is their honor to be the sacrifice that opens the hell road. The deep voice of the Slaughter King sounded. At this time, the screams had gradually stopped, except for Xiaofei and the King of Killing. There seems to be no one alive here anymore. The blood flowed into the field and did not spread in a straight line. Grooves appeared on the ground at some point, and the blood flow was poured into them. Gradually, it converged into a huge blood-red pattern on the ground. The pattern made of blood turned out to be a bird-like creature, Xiaofei knew. That is the blood-red nine-headed Bat King. Suddenly, the bird's eyes lit up, and Xiaofei's mental power was shattered almost instantly. A huge red light shot up into the sky, instantly sweeping the two of them inside. All surrounding perceptions become blurred. Only the deep and sharp voice of the Slaughter King echoed in my ears. Good luck on the road to hell. Under the blood-red devouring, Xiaofei felt that his feet were empty, everything around him became illusory, and all his perceptions were completely blocked at this moment. When Xiaofei woke up completely, he found himself on a circular platform. This platform is only about 5 meters in diameter, everything around him showed a faint blood-red color, and beyond the 5-meter diameter circular platform under his feet, there was an abyss. In addition, a slender path less than half a foot wide and only wide enough to accommodate 2 feet standing at the same time leads to the unknown darkness, and this is the only way to the outside world on their platform. That is the legendary Road to Hell. Chapter 42 Road to Hell. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaofei did not start walking immediately, but first adjusted his breath for a while until his heart stabilized and his soul power returned to its best state. After fully recovering, Xiaofei began to walk along the Hell Road. Although the Hell Road was very narrow, it was very smooth for Xiaofei, who had mastered flying. If he was not afraid of problems with the assessment, he could fly forward directly. As Xiaofei moved forward, Xiaofei felt that the air was getting hotter and hotter, and a lot of heat seemed to be coming from the bottom. However, this had almost no effect on Xiaofei, who had the fire attribute. Suddenly, there seemed to be a buzzing sound below. Xiaofei kept his mind and knew that it should be the blood-red bats coming. After a while, the buzzing sound became louder and louder, and countless red lights appeared in the sky. A closer look showed that there were countless blood-red bats. Those blood-red bats flew very fast and were close in a short while. Their eyes were also blood-red. When they found the target, they made a cackle in their mouths and revealed their sharp fangs. Thousands of blood bats flapped their wings together, bringing a fishy wind. Xiaofei walked while waving the iron sword in his hand to defend against the attack of the bats. As more and more bats attacked, Xiaofei's movements became faster and faster. Xiaofei aimed at the most bats in front and suddenly his right hand turned into a fire phoenix. The extremely high temperature of the phoenix flame instantly killed countless bats, and the bat group was reduced by a full tenth. Seeing Xiaofei's right claw with flames, the bats did not dare to approach. However, they refused to leave and kept harassing Xiaofei. Suddenly, Xiaofei felt a stronger energy fluctuation coming from the front. Just in front of the narrow road, below the narrow road, a huge guy was hanging upside down. Under the light red light around, it released a dark golden light. The guy was about 4 meters long, and his 2 huge claws were buckled on the narrow road. Each claw had a diameter of more than 1 meter and was sharp and grabbed into the stone. Amid the screams of a large number of blood bats, a pair of huge wings slowly opened on the dark golden body, and the terrifying wingspan was as wide as 10 meters. The claws suddenly loosened, and under the flapping of the huge wings, its huge body flew up, and it turned out to be an extremely huge bat. The dark gold 3-headed bat king made a low hum, and then flew towards Xiaofei at a high speed. Before its huge body could reach him, an incomparable and tyrannical aura had already rushed towards him. The terrifying gust of wind was more terrifying than all the blood-red bats before. Xiaofei was waiting for his arrival. Suddenly, his whole body was on fire, and his limbs turned into a phoenix. He flew towards the dark gold 3-headed bat king at a high speed. Xiaofei suddenly stretched out 5 steel claws from his right hand, and clawed at the dark gold 3-headed bat king. The dark gold 3-headed bat king was directly cut in half. The golden light spread instantly, and with a bang, a large amount of golden liquid flew everywhere. All the blood bats around that were splashed by the golden liquid died in screams. With the death of the dark gold 3-headed bat king, the other blood bats suddenly became leaderless, and rushed towards Xiaofei with almost revengeful madness. Facing more bats flying, Xiaofei did not turn into a phoenix this time, but opened the bird bone wings behind him. The 50,000-year-old flame bird bone wings were now as sharp as blades. After a while, the bats around were cut into pieces. After killing the blood bats, Xiaofei rested for a while, and then continued to walk on the road of hell. Suddenly, Xiaofei found a pair of huge fiery red eyes in front of him. After taking a closer look, he saw a huge snake hovering in the middle of the road of hell. The snake head was very large, with a diameter of 5 meters. There were 9 tumors on the snake head. Xiaofei knew that this was the ancient beast 10-headed sun snake. The giant snake suddenly spit out a pungent breath at Xiaofei, with a serious flame temperature in the breath, and obviously mixed with some kind of toxin. Xiaofei's limbs were instantly transformed into beasts, and at the same time, he waved his bone wings, like a phoenix looking down at the giant snake. With extremely fast speed, Xiaofei kept shuttling in the air. From time to time, Xiaofei completed damage to the giant snake, and the poison of the giant snake was basically useless to Xiaofei, who was refining his body with ice and fire, and the speed of the giant snake was much slower than Xiaofei. The weakness of the 10-headed fiery sun snake is the 9 tumors on its head. Xiaofei took advantage of the moment when its speed of injury slowed down and seized the opportunity. His 5 steel claws grabbed its weakness. In the end, the entire head of the 10-headed fiery sun snake was torn into pieces, and its body fell to the ground. Xiaofei also breathed a sigh of relief. A fiery red ball emerged from the snake. Xiaofei activated his soul power and sucked the ball into his hand. The temperature of the ball was extremely high. This was the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake, and it was also the essence of its body. After putting away the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake, Xiaofei had passed 2 levels in a row, and there was only 1 level left. Xiaofei continued to walk forward along the hell road. As he went further and further forward on the hell road, the temperature continued to rise. The dark red liquid flowing in the abyss on both sides gradually became clearer from being vaguely visible, and the terrain seemed to be going down all the time. Xiaofei understood that he had finally reached the last level. Xiaofei speeded up. As he approached the abyss, his speed also increased. The air became obviously hotter and hotter, his vision became more and more blurred, the murderous aura on his body became heavier, and the evil aura on his body became stronger. The huge evil aura, the hot evil plasma, and his own huge killing aura. Walking through the hell road in these 3 auras is the final test. Xiaofei used the spiritual wisdom soul bone on his head to the extreme. A ray of white light appeared 1,000 meters ahead. There should be the exit of the hell road. Enduring all kinds of pain in his heart, Xiaofei waved his wings and flew quickly towards the exit. Finally, before he was about to lose control, he flew out of the light. And Xiaofei gradually lost consciousness. After an unknown period of time, Xiaofei finally woke up slowly and gradually regained his consciousness. Looking around, it has become a lush forest. Xiaofei knew that he had finally walked out of the hell road. Xiaofei observed his own changes. Some special lines appeared on Xiaofei's body, and these lines turned out to be the lines when the hell road was opened. The 9-headed Bat King. Xiaofei tried to activate these lines, and in an instant, a surge of white light quietly diffused. The white light was released from Xiaofei, but soon, the white light turned colorless. Everything around seemed to tremble in this white light. This is the field composed of murderous aura, the field of killing gods. It is also one of the gains of the city of killing. In the past 2 years, after taking back his killing god domain, Xiaofei left the woods. It was time to return to Blazing Academy. Chapter 43. Reading thousands of books. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. 5 days later, a figure dressed in black came to Blazing Academy. The man in black is dressed in tatters and wears a mask. His body is full of the smell of blood. When ordinary people walk near the man in black, they will feel a sense of depression, as if their throat is stuck. This person is Xiaofei. When Xiaofei was about to enter the gate of Blazing Fire Academy, the guard stopped Xiaofei and said, "Sorry, sir, non-students or teachers of this college are not allowed to enter the academy." "Sir, you are dressed like this, and you're still wearing a mask, I can't let you enter the academy." Xiaofei was blocked by the guard, and he seemed to have a special impulse in his heart, and a murderous aura was directed at the guard. Xiaofei suppressed the murderous aura in his body, took off his mask, and said painfully, "I am Wang Xiaofei." As the gatekeeper of the college, of course he knew Wang Xiaofei. When the guard saw Wang Xiaofei's face, he saw that Xiaofei's face was pale, and he seemed to be gritting his teeth and insisting on something. There was pain in his eyes. The guard quickly gave way and said, "Hello, Xiaofei, why are you like this? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Do you want me to ask the principal to come over?" Xiaofei shook his head and slowly walked to his dormitory without saying anything. After a while, everyone knew the news that Xiaofei returned to school. Huo Wu, Huo Wushuang, Huo Tianchen and Huo Lai all came to Xiaofei's dormitory, and Xiaofei had just finished washing up. Huo Wu ran over, hugged Xiaofei and said, "Xiaofei, you are finally back." She was sobbing from time to time. Xiaofei seemed a little at a loss at this time, but his aura was very exclusive, murderous, and very violent. Huo Wushuang quickly opened Huo Wu. Huo Wu said in surprise, "Xiaofei, what's wrong with you? How did you become like this?" Dean Huo Tianchen was more experienced and quickly stopped Huo Wu from asking. Then he checked Xiaofei's body and said, "Xiaofei, your body is very unstable right now. The murderous aura in your body seems to be about to explode at any time. If you can't control yourself, you may explode and die at any time, or go crazy." Huo Wu was so frightened that she covered her mouth, with crystal tears dripping from her eyes. Xiaofei nodded and said, "Principal, I know my physical condition myself. As the saying goes, read thousands of books and travel thousands of miles. I want to use the school library and keep absolute silence." Dean Huo Tiancheng thought for a while, nodded and said, "Okay, I'll go get ready right away." Then he took everyone out of Xiaofei's dormitory. Even Huo Wu, who originally wanted to stay, was dragged away. As soon as they went out, Huo Wu asked, "Grandpa, Xiaofei, what's going on?" Huo Tiancheng said with a solemn face, "Xiaofei should have just come out of the killing city, and the killing aura in his body has already materialized. I'm afraid Xiaofei has killed a lot of people in the past 2 years. What Xiaofei needs most now is silence. We'll talk about anything later. Don't meet Xiaofei recently." Then, a message came from Blazing Academy. Due to the theft of important information within the academy, the library is temporarily closed. No one is allowed to approach the library, otherwise, they will be treated as thieves. After the library was cleaned up, Xiaofei walked to the library alone and started reading. Huo Lai turned into a librarian and stayed outside the library to prevent anyone from entering the library. For the next time, Xiaofei stayed alone in the library, reading, copying, and writing books. Everything he did was related to books. Only he has never practiced soul power and has never been in contact with his own martial soul. A year later, Xiaofei walked out of the library. This is also the first time he has walked out of the library this year. At this time, Xiaofei no longer had any murderous aura in his body, and he didn't even have any fluctuations in his soul power. He looked completely like an ordinary person, a teacher full of bookishness, and his whole body was completely natural. Huo Lai at the door also breathed a sigh of relief. Xiaofei, Huo Wu, Huo Wushuang, Huo Tianchen and Huo Lai gathered together again. Xiaofei told some things about the killing city, including the god of killing domain that he obtained. Xiaofei asked, "Dean, has anything happened in the past few years?" Huo Tianchen nodded and said, "A lot of big things have happened in the past few years. Both Wuhuan Palace and Tiando Empire have tried to recruit me many times, and the prices they offered were very high. Wuhuan Palace offered the price offered by Tiando Empire is to make me an elder and give me multiple high-end soul bones. The price offered by Tiando Empire is to make me a national teacher or even a king, making me the dean of Tiando Royal Academy." Xiaofei nodded and said, "Dean, what was your reply?" "The price is terrifyingly high." Huo Tianchen shook his head and said, "The higher the price, the greater the risk. No matter which party you accept, the other party will definitely become a mortal enemy. These two forces are not something we can offend casually." Xiaofei quickly asked, "By the way, Dean, why did you reject the Wuhuan Palace?" Huo Tianchen glanced at Xiaofei meaningfully and said, "I didn't completely reject Wuhuan Palace. I just said that I wanted to join Wuhuan Palace. However, now that the people, the academy, and the ancestral foundation are all in the Tiando Empire, I dare not agree. Xiaofei, do you know anything? Xiaofei thought for a while and said, has the Soul Master world become much calmer in recent years than Teacher Huolai's generation? Wuhuan Palace has been accumulating strength over the years, and now their strength is very terrifying. If conflicts break out, I'm afraid they will quickly eliminate all hostile forces. Huolai was a little surprised and said, no way. Although the Soul Masters of Wuhuan Palace are powerful, the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect and the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus family are also very powerful. The three upper sects should be able to fight against Wuhuan Palace. Xiaofei shook his head and said, there are at least more than 10 title Douluo in the Spirit Hall. Several people were surprised and said, how is this possible? Could you be mistaken? Xiaofei shook his head and said, there will be more than 10, and they are high-level title Douluo. The dean is older and should know more. Dean Hua thought for a while and said, yes, the title Douluo in the Spirit Hall may indeed be more than we imagined. When I was young, the signboard of the Spirit Hall was not the current Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo. In recent decades, the only title Douluo who died in the Spirit Hall was the former Pope. Several people were silent for a while, and finally Hua Wu said, Xiaofei, how is your soul power level now? Sister, I am already level 66, and soon my sister may grow into the youngest soul saint in history. Xiaofei smiled and said, I was already level 62 years ago, and now I only need one soul ring. Hua Tianqian said, when do you plan to hunt for soul rings, and how many years do you need? Xiaofei shook his head, took out the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake, and said, this is the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake, and I plan to use it as my 6th soul ring. Hua Tianqian looked at the inner elixir carefully and said, this inner elixir contains very pure fire elements and has very high energy, but I don't know if it can become a soul ring. Xiaofei thought about it and said, it should be no problem. I feel that the Fire Phoenix martial spirit is very eager for it. Chapter 44 Six-Headed Fire Phoenix. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Everyone knows that with Xiaofei's character, as long as he is sure of something, he will definitely do it, so, the dean brought everyone to his own training chamber. Under the gaze of everyone, Xiaofei summoned his martial soul and then swallowed the inner pill of the 10-headed scorching sun snake in one gulp. In fact, Xiaofei has been very entangled about whether to absorb this inner pill. First of all, looking at the entire text of Douluo, treasures such as bead inner pills are very against the sky. Secondly, the 10-headed scorching sun snake obviously does not conform to the soul beast rules of the Douluo world. It can be said that it has surpassed the soul beast itself and is a thing beyond the level. Absorbing this inner pill may cause unimaginable benefits. Finally, in the original work, Ma Hongjun was able to absorb this soul ring with the help of Tang San and Ning Rongrong, but he did not have the help of others. However, his current physical fitness is far from that of Ma Hongjun. For high-year soul bones make his physical fitness far superior to ordinary people. And his body can be said to have been transformed by the City of Slaughter and become stronger. Xiaofei concentrated his mind and began to absorb this soul ring. After the inner elixir of the 10-headed scorching sun snake entered the body, it instantly melted in Xiaofei's body, and the power of the inner elixir instantly turned into a red flame, burning Xiaofei's whole body, including Xiaofei's martial soul. Fortunately, Xiaofei has now become the ultimate fire, and the phoenix flame has a certain suppressive effect on all the flames in the world. Xiaofei used his own meditation method to guide the flame to circulate throughout the body. In an instant, Xiaofei's whole body turned red, and a trace of blood flowed along the skin, mixed with orange flames. Gradually, an orange fireball formed around Xiaofei, constantly burning Xiaofei's body and Xiaofei's fire phoenix martial soul, as if forging something. And Xiaofei's martial soul in the fireball seemed to be forged by fire, burning every cell and every trace of Xiaofei's soul. The area around the fireball had already turned into a charred black. Hua Wu covered her mouth and said, Grandpa, how is Xiaofei now? Dean Hua said, Xiaofei's condition has temporarily stabilized and there should be no danger. Xiaofei and the fireball experienced 3 days of calcination. Gradually, a huge soul ring appeared on the fire phoenix. The soul ring gradually changed from the initial white to yellow, purple, black and dark black. Finally, when the flames around Xiaofei completely disappeared, a dark black soul ring formed around the fire phoenix. The fire phoenix also changed. In addition to the original head, it actually grew 5 more heads. Moreover, the fire phoenix let out a long cry, and a phoenix flame rushed out of the training room, dyeing the sky above the entire Qihua Academy into a fiery red. A huge phoenix phantom appeared in the air. All the fire attribute soul masters around seemed to be unable to help throbbing, and there was an impulse to worship the fire phoenix. Just like thousands of fires worshipping the phoenix, Xiaofei himself lost a lot of weight, and the black hair on his head was burned into a fiery red. His eyes seemed to have a hint of gold, and the depths of his soul seemed to have been sublimated. Huo Wu ran over and hugged Xiaofei and said, "Xiaofei, how do you feel now?" Xiaofei smiled and said, "Very good, I feel very comfortable now, and I have become unprecedentedly strong." Xiaofei summoned his fire phoenix martial soul, and everyone around him instantly felt that there seemed to be a repressive force. It was like the suppression of the lower martial soul by the upper martial soul. Xiaofei carefully felt his martial soul, which seemed to have a trace of divinity. There would be a natural repressive force on the martial soul and beast pattern of the fire attribute, and it seemed that the martial soul did not seem to enter the final form. The current fire phoenix should be regarded as a quasi-god level martial soul. When it transforms into a 10-headed fire phoenix, it is when the martial soul enters the god level. Xiaofei's soul power has reached an astonishing level of 64. Of course, this includes both the 6th soul ring, which is infinitely close to the 100,000-year soul ring, and Xiaofei's accumulation of soul power in the past 2 years. At the same time, Xiaofei's phoenix transformation has also developed further. Now Xiaofei can also phoenixize his torso, but the head cannot be phoenixized. In terms of strength, Xiaofei can already single out the 8-ring soul Douluo. In the entire Blazing Academy, no one is Xiaofei's opponent except the Dean. Xiaofei's 6th soul skill is called Phoenix Slash. He can gather his strength in his right claw and release a flaming slash. The slash is accompanied by a powerful phoenix flame essence, which can burn and cut everything, ignoring all obstacles. The flame will never go out, physical defense is invalid, and energy defense is reduced by 50%. The attack range is linked to Xiaofei's use of soul power. Xiaofei's first feeling is that this soul skill is very powerful, and the second feeling is that the development limit of this soul skill is very high. In the original work, Xiaofei's favorite is Jian Douluo Jian Dao Qin Xian. If he can master the formation principle of this slash, can he use the claws as a sword and use similar sword energy or knife energy? That would be fun. Then Xiaofei resumed his normal college life, reading books, exercising, practicing soul power, and occasionally fighting with Huo Lai. Life has become leisurely for a while. Xiaofei also plans to relax himself. Xiaofei and Huo Wu have been living a very good life these days, and they often live in their own little world. Huo Wushuang, who used to be with her, was kicked out by Huo Wu to practice. The two practiced together, read books together, played together, and went shopping together. The relationship between Xiaofei and Huo Wu quickly heated up, and now they have started holding hands. Recently, Blazing Fire Academy is one of the hottest places in the entire Douluo Continent. Since the day when the phoenix flames filled the sky, many people have been saying that Blazing Fire Academy has produced an incredible talent. The Dean Hua Tianqian announced to the outside world that he has reached level 93, which is an amazing speed. Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang of Blazing Fire Academy have now reached level 66 and 65 respectively. Huo Wu is just 22 years old. The 22-year-old Soul Emperor can be called the youngest Soul Emperor in history. Huo Wushuang is 24 years old and has reached level 65, which is also well known. Now the two are known as the Blazing Fire Twin Stars, and there is a trend of overshadowing the Haotian Twin Stars in the past. Huo Wu is known as the first person of the young generation and can be called the proud daughter of heaven. In addition, Huo Wu is beautiful, and countless people come to her for her reputation, and those who want to marry her are stepping on the door. Even the direct disciples of the three sects came, but they were all rejected by Huo Wu. Even the Prince Xueqinghe came, but unfortunately the two sides did not even meet. Faced with the harassment, Huo Wu directly put forward her own conditions. Only those who are stronger than herself can date her, and they must marry into the Blazing Fire Academy, and the other party must be a fire element practitioner. Once such a threshold was put forward, many people instantly disappeared. Of course, more people came to make friends. Chapter 45 Seven Treasure Glazed Sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That day, the dean suddenly called Huo Lai to inform Huo Wu and Xiaofei to go to the hall to welcome the distinguished guests. Even Huo Wushuang, who was in retreat, was called out. When Xiaofei and the other two came to the hall was obviously strictly guarded, and there were disciples of the Huo family guarding it. The three walked into the hall and saw the dean sitting in the first seat alone, with two people sitting next to him, one gentle and elegant, and the other sharp and unparalleled. These two people were Ning Fengji and Jian Douluo. There were two young men and women sitting in the back. The woman was very beautiful, especially her blue eyes, and her tender skin was like lychee. She was about 1.65 meters tall, with a very well-proportioned figure and noble temperament. She looked like a highly educated aristocratic girl, wearing a princess dress, sitting there quietly. Xiaofei, who was familiar with the original work, knew at a glance that it was the little witch Ning Rongrong. The other one was also a young man in his 20s, wearing the clothes of the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect, probably a disciple of the Ning family. Seeing the three people coming in, the dean introduced, these two are the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect Master Ning and Senior Jian Douluo. After the introduction, it turned out to be Ning Rongrong and a Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Tower Soul Master named Ning. The three greeted Ning Fengji and Jian Douluo. Ning Fengji smiled and said, "Three friends, the last time we met was the Soul Master Competition Finals. It's been 4 years since we last met, and the three of you have become more and more outstanding." Ning Fengji then said to the dean, "Dean Hua, what do you think about the alliance with our two families?" The dean shook his head and said, "Sect Master Ning, in fact, the conditions you offer are really good, and I am also very tempted. It is the Blazing Fire Academy, which has been passed down from our ancestors. Our Hua family has only been running the academy for generations, not participating in power competition, and has not built a sect, so we cannot form an alliance with others. If the disciples of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect want to come to the Blazing Fire Academy to study, we are very welcome. And we will not interfere with the students' ambitions after graduation. As for the marriage between the two sides, my Hua family has always been more open-minded. Ming, as long as both sides recognize the child, we will not interfere." Ning Fengji couldn't help complaining in his heart, "Where is your Hua family open-minded? Who doesn't know that your Hua family has always been as fiery? Basically, no direct daughters marry out, and no men marry into other families." But Ning Fengji still smiled and nodded, saying, "That's good. It just so happens that I have something to do and need to stay near Qihua City for a while. Recently, let Rongrong and Ning Yuan interact more with your three little geniuses." In fact, everyone with a discerning eye knows that the Hua family now has two peerless geniuses. Now they are only in their 20s, but they have already reached the level of Soul Emperor, and they are high-level Soul Emperors. Within 20 years, it is estimated that there will be two more titled Douluo, plus the genius Wang Xiaofei. It is impossible for the Hua family to take sides now. Once they take sides, the other side will kill the Hua family genius without hesitation. What the Hua family lacks most now is time for geniuses to grow up. Jian Douluo looked at Xiaofei seriously and said, "Wang Xiaofei, long time no see. If you are willing to join the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect, Lao Gutu and I will accept you as our personal disciple and pass on all our life's learning to you." Xiaofei hurriedly said, "Thank you, Senior Jian Douluo, for your appreciation. It's just that I am now a teacher at the Blazing Fire Academy, so it's not suitable for me to join the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect." Douluo shook his head and said, "What's not suitable? You are just a student at the Blazing Fire Academy now, and you haven't become a disciple, nor have you married into the Hua family. If you join the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect, you will have a broader prospect." Xiaofei shook his head and said, "Senior Douluo, I have my own ambitions and goals. In my eyes, the Blazing Fire Academy is my home, and the Dean, Hua Wushuang, and Hua Wuwu are my family. I don't want to leave my family." Douluo shook his head and said, "What a pity." Then he stopped talking. Next, the 4 people from the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect moved into the Blazing Fire Academy. Ning Rongrong and Ning Yuan were received by Hua Wushuang and the other 2, while Ning Fengji and Douluo were received by the Dean himself. Ning Fengji and Douluo returned to the room. Ning Fengji asked, "Uncle Jian, what do you think of the 3 young men from the Hua family?" Douluo said, "These 3 are all geniuses of their generation. Hua Wushuang and Hua Wu, I think their talents seem to be much better than during the Soul Master competition, and they have a more aura. Hua Wu feels more like a king, and Wushuang's dragon attribute seems to be much stronger. I have only seen such a strong dragon aura on that old dragon. The potential of the 2 stars of the Hua family is probably lower than that of the Haotian twin stars." Ning Fengji shook his head and said, "These are the people of the Hua family, and they are also the foundation of the Hua family in the future. Hua Tianchen will probably not let anyone take them away. Wang Xiaofei, how is his strength? Did he really waste his potential?" Douluo shook his head and said, "Wang Xiaofei is now level 64, and his soul power is even higher than the Hua brothers and sisters. I even found that he has a natural killing intent. I am afraid that ordinary soul saints may not be his opponent." Ning Fengji was surprised and said, "How is this possible? 4 years ago, Wang Xiaofei's soul power was level 49. 4 years later, his soul power has reached level 64, and his soul power has increased by 15 levels. Even if the 2 high-year soul rings are removed, it has increased by more than 12 levels, an average of 3 levels per year. Hua Wu and Hua Wushuang's soul power has increased even more. How did they practice? Is it true that the rumors outside that the Hua family got some treasures?" Douluo shook his head and said, "Such a treasure must be rare. No matter what the Hua family says, they will not use it on Wang Xiaofei, an outsider. It seems that Blazing Academy has a big secret." In the next few days, Hua Wushuang and the other 2 took Ning Rongrong and Ning Yuan to walk all over the Qihua Academy, and even took them to the training ground of the new Qihua team. Ning Rongrong and Ning Yuan also tried rock climbing, but they were miserable. Without Ning Fengji and Douluo, Ning Rongrong seemed to have regained her witch nature, and Qihua Academy suddenly became a bit chaotic. I don't know if it was arranged by Ning Fengji, but Ning Rongrong was actually very interested in Xiaofei, and she almost showed her admiration on her face. From time to time, she asked Xiaofei to do this and that. Xiaofei couldn't refuse, and was always embarrassed, which made Hua Wu jealous. Xiaofei felt very speechless. In the original work, there was still a year before the soul-hunting operation of the Spirit Hall. Now making friends with the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect, wouldn't that be asking for death? A month later, Ning Fengji seemed to have finished his work, and the younger generations of the 2 families didn't seem to have made any progress, so he took Ning Rongrong and Ning Yuan away. Ning Fengji asked in the carriage, "Rongrong, what do you think of Xiaofei and Hua Wushuang?" Ning Rongrong thought for a while and said, "These 2 people are very boring. Hua Wushuang is a good person, but she dotes on her sister. Wang Xiaofei rarely interacts with other people. It seems that he doesn't care about anything except Hua Wu and Hua Wushuang. And now anyone with a discerning eye can see that Hua Wu and Wang Xiaofei are a couple. It is estimated that Wang Xiaofei will marry into the Hua family." Ning Fengji continued to ask, "Have you ever come into contact with the strength of the 3 of them?" Ning Rongrong shook her head, "In this month, I have basically never seen the 3 of them fight." Ning Fengji sighed and said, "It's a pity for such a peerless genius." Chapter 46, Divine Fire Sect. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Ever since everyone from the Qibao Glazed Sect left, Xiaofei has been practicing harder and harder. Apart from cultivating his soul power, he basically does nothing else every day. However, since he has not yet reached level 70, Xiaofei's soul power is progressing very slowly. According to current estimates, it will take more than half a year to increase each level in the future, which means that it may take 3 years to increase to level 70. Class, but now for Xiaofei, there is no time at all. According to the setting of the original work, in less than a year, Wuhuan Palace will launch a war to exterminate all major sections. Although Blazing Fire Academy expressed friendship to Wuhuan Palace, it did not seek refuge with Wuhuan Palace. Who knows if Wuhuan Palace will destroy Blazing Fire Academy by then. So Xiaofei has been practicing more and more diligently recently, and he has become more and more anxious. Even Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang couldn't stand it anymore. Huo Wu even forced Xiaofei to go out to play. On this day, the dean called several people to his practice room and said to Xiaofei, "Xiaofei, I don't know what you are anxious about now. Why do you practice so hard? No matter what happens now, I am here. Bear it. Although several major sects have put a lot of pressure on me, it is not yet time for you children to work hard. You should stabilize your mentality and move forward step by step. With your talent and strength, you will be able to do it in less than 20 years. Once you become a title Douluo, there will definitely be very few people who can defeat you." Xiaofei shook his head and said, "Dean, I'm afraid that I won't be given 20 years now. Now the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect, Wuhuan Palace and Tiando Empire are all willing to pay unimaginable prices in order to win over us. It can be seen that they are in urgent need of power now. They are so eager, which means they smell danger, especially the Qibao Glazed Sect and the Tiando Empire. In the past, the combined efforts of the 3 upper sects could check and balance Wuhuan Palace. However, Wuhuan Palace used a pope in exchange for Haotian sect's retreat. On the surface, both families suffered heavy losses, and both sides suffered losses. But with the background of these two families, it is very simple to cultivate a title Douluo. Although the Haotian sect has retired, it has been accumulating strength. Although they cannot obtain resources from the outside world, they can still use their own heritage to develop themselves. Wuhuan Palace does not have the checks and balances of the Haotian sect and has entered into rapid development. Theory it is said that these two companies should be the strongest now. Although the Qibao Glazed Sect is known as the best auxiliary spirit in the world, and has 2 major title Douluo, Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo, its potential is quite limited. Now they have developed to the extreme. If there are no new ones in the future, with the addition of strength, I'm afraid it will start to go downhill. The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus sect has always only had 1 title Douluo, Yu Engine. Their outward development has been restricted, and there are many factions internally. Their strength is due to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon martial spirit, but in fact, the soul beast of the thunder element it's the least, which is bound to limit their development. So I bet that in as little as 1 year or as long as 5 years, big changes will definitely occur on the mainland, and this change may be the largest in a century. It is estimated that at least one of the 3 sects will be expelled. That's why I'm so nervous." The dean looked solemn and said, "Xiaofei, I am actually aware that there may be big changes in the mainland, but not as fast as you said. I thought we still have at least 10 years to develop steadily. Actually, I secretly met with the leader of the Fire Leopard sect recently. The leader of the Fire Leopard sect is about to receive the title of Douluo, and the Fire Leopard sect has secretly defected to the Spirit Hall. Plus Hu Yenjin in the elephant armor. I estimate that the next 4 sects have all surrendered to Wuhuan Palace, so they may start the war sooner." The dean thought silently for a moment and said, "Come with me to the Hua family's ancestral secret room." The dean led everyone to a secret room he mentioned. This secret room is built in the backyard of the entire college and is very close to the volcano. Obviously, except for himself, Huo Wu and the others had been to these secret rooms. However, the dean did not sit down. Instead, he groped for a while in a corner of the secret room. Suddenly, the floor in this corner opened up, revealing a downward tunnel. A few people walked down the tunnel, and the temperature in the air became higher and higher. Finally, when they reached the ground, they found an ancestral hall. Inside the ancestral hall were the tablets of past family heads, and the innermost part was I don't know what kind of material the figure is made of, but the figure is holding a box in its hand. Several people were waiting to salute the portrait and the tablet. At this time, Huo Lai said, "Dad, why didn't I know there was such an ancestral hall at home?" The dean said calmly, "I will tell you before I die or when you succeed the family patriarch." The dean said, "Actually, our country has a very long history. About 10,000 years ago, the Huo family was also a very powerful sect. The sect at that time was called the Xinhua sect. How many years did the Xinhua sect exist? I don't know. The address of the Xinhua sect back then was in the immortal volcano. Since the immortal volcano is very suitable for people with the fire element to practice, the sect had many titled Douluo masters, and the sect leader was the legendary level 99 extreme Douluo. Unknown what happened later, the immortal volcano began to erupt, and due to the presence of enemies, the leader of the Xinhua sect died together with the enemy, while the people of the Xinhua sect were gradually submerged in the endless volcano. Develop in various places on Douluo Continent. With the passage of 10,000 years, the Divine Fire sect has completely disappeared in the long river of history. Now there are only two tributary sects in the world, namely our Qihua Academy and the Fire Leopard sect of the Xinglua Empire. The meditation methods of our two families are adapted from the meditation method of the Divine Fire sect. It is said that in the Divine Fire sect, there will be purer fire elements, which are more suitable for fire spirit masters to practice. After saying this, the dean took the box from the statue's hand, opened the box with a special method, handed the parchment inside to Xiaofei, and said, "Xiaofei, I will give you the map now. The undead volcano is more suitable for the practice of fire elements. If you really want to become stronger, go there to find your own opportunity." Xiaofei nodded and took the parchment. 3 days later, Xiaofei, Huo Wushuang and Huo Wu left Qihua Academy with the map. Huo Lai wanted to go with them, but was rejected by the three. The three said that only after experiencing battles and dangers can one truly become stronger. Watching the three people leave, Huo Lai suddenly asked the dean, "Dad, it's been 10,000 years. Does the Divine Fire sect really still exist? Would it have been burned to ashes long ago?" That the dean shook his head and said, "Who knows? Oh, the opportunities and challenges in the undying volcano are the best for Huo Wu and the other three. Even if something unexpected happens on Douluo Continent, our Huo family still has some roots left." Huo Lai also nodded silently. Chapter 47 Fire Bat. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. With the map, Xiaofei came to the immortal volcano again, but this time there were only 3 of us young people, and we had to face all the dangers ourselves. There are very few trees in the endless radius of nearly 100 miles, and there are some relatively small fire attribute trees. The 3 of them were walking on the dark ground. Since they were still on the outskirts of the volcano, the number of soul beasts was very small, so there was no need to investigate. Since the map is from 10,000 years ago, the ground veins near the immortal volcano have long since changed, and there is almost no difference between having a map and not having one. Xiaofei and the other 3 had to follow the route led by the dean last time. Near the volcano, because there is very little moisture in the air, and due to the need to fight the heat, people's physical strength will lose faster than outside, so it is necessary to minimize strenuous exercise or reduce the use of soul power. At night, Xiaofei and Huo Wushuang took turns keeping watch. In this way, after 3 days, Xiaofei and the others arrived at the place where they last hunted the 10 fierce sky ant beasts. The 3 of them looked at the sky and decided to rest here. During the day, Xiaofei felt something was wrong. He always felt that there was some spirit beast nearby, but he didn't find anything after taking a closer look. At night, when Xiaofei was meditating outside the tent, he suddenly felt that there seemed to be fluctuations in soul power around him. Xiaofei used his soul bones to feel the surrounding environment, and there were actually many stars with soul power appearing in the environment. Xiaofei said to himself, "What's going on? How could he be suddenly surrounded by soul power?" Suddenly thinking of something, Xiaofei immediately woke them up. Huowu asked in confusion, "Hey, what's going on? Why did you wake us up so suddenly?" Xiaofei said with a solemn expression, "There seems to be something under the ground, and there are a lot of them. The number is huge. It looks like a soul beast, but something feels wrong. I can only feel it with my soul bones." After a while, the three of them clearly felt that the fluctuations in the soul power around them were getting bigger and bigger. Xiaofei said quickly, "Let's go, we must leave quickly." Suddenly a hole appeared in the ground, and countless fire ants came out of the ground. Then a second, third, and fourth opening appeared. All the openings seemed to form some kind of encirclement, and then countless fire ants came out. Xiaofei said quickly, "These are fire ants. Regardless of their small soul power, judging from their size, they are probably century-old soul beasts." Yes, the countless fire ants surrounding Xiaofei and others are century-old spirit beasts. Each fire ant is about the size of a fist. Suddenly, dozens of larger fire ants suddenly appeared from the ground. These dozens were already the size of basketballs. These large fire ants were already thousand-year-old soul beasts. Xiaofei quickly used martial arts to possess him and flew into the sky. He looked around and said, "Trouble." Because Xiaofei saw countless scarlet flashes in the sky, and when he took a closer look, he saw that they were all fire bats, and they looked like hundred-year-old spirit beasts, and there were various kinds of them mixed in. A relatively small fire bat, but a thousand-year-old soul beast. Whether it's Naruto or fire bats, there are tens of thousands of them, or even more. Xiaofei flew in the air with his phoenix-shaped claws and kept killing fire bats, while Huowu and Huowushuang were dealing with almost densely packed fire ants on the ground. Both fire ants and fire bats have very strong fire resistance due to living near volcanoes for a long time. Ordinary flames can only cause damage to them but cannot kill them. Xiaofei thought for a while and said, "Something's wrong. These fire ants and fire bats are consuming our soul power. There must be senior soul beasts directing these fire ants and fire bats to fight. We must leave here quickly." After saying that, Xiaofei stretched out the flame bird bone wings from his back, then dived to the ground and said, "You two jump on my shoulders quickly." After hearing what Xiaofei said, Huowushuang and Huowu jumped into the sky quickly. Xiaofei flashed past, and the two of them had already stepped on Xiaofei's shoulders. Firebat seemed to know that Xiaofei wanted to break out and fly away, and kept blocking Xiaofei in the air, even if he was killed by Xiaofei. For a time, the soul power of Xiaofei and the three of them were consumed rapidly. Huowushuang said, "No, it will be dangerous if we continue to be surrounded like this. Their leader must be forced out." Xiaofei activated his second soul skill, sparks like rain, and countless fire feathers flew towards the fire bats in the air. The fire bats instantly suffered a lot of damage, and even several thousand-year-old fire bats were killed. At the moment when a large number of fire bats were killed, Xiaofei suddenly rushed to the distance. There was a large fluctuation of firepower. It was obvious that it was the Fire Bat King. Xiaofei instantly activated his soul bone skill, spiritual impact, and the Bat King let out a sharp roar. It was obvious that the Fire Bat King was injured. After confirming the location of the Fire Bat King, Xiaofei flapped his wings and quickly flew towards the Fire Bat King. The Fire Bat King seemed to be angered and also flew towards Xiaofei and the others. Suddenly, the Fire Bat King roared loudly, and the three of them instantly felt very uncomfortable, and their heads seemed to have been hit. This is the sonic attack of the Fire Bat King, which is actually mixed with mental shock. I saw the Fire Bat King waving his sharp claws to kill Xiaofei and the other three. Xiaofei quickly used his soul bone to steady his mind and waited for the opportunity. 5 steel claws directly cut off one of the Fire Bat King's arms. The Fire Bat King was angered again, and with a long roar, countless fire bats rushed toward Xiaofei and the others desperately. Looking at the overwhelming fire bats, Xiaofei felt the fluctuations of the Fire Bat King's soul power with his heart, and directly launched the 6th soul skill, Phoenix Slash. All the fire bats in a straight line, including the Fire Bat King, were cut in half, the Fire Bat King died, and the remaining Fire Bats attacked even more desperately. Without the command and coordination of the Fire Bat King, the Fire Bats' attacks became even more chaotic. After one stick of incense, all the Fire Bats were almost dead or injured. Since Xiaofei and the other three could fly, the fire ants on the ground lost their attack target, and eventually all the fire ants burrowed back into the ground. After a period of confirmation, the three finally returned to the ground. There are only corpses left on the ground, especially the huge corpse of the Fire Bat King. The size of the War Fire Bat King's corpse is estimated to be a soul beast close to 30,000 years old. The three of them ate the herb that restored their soul power and then adjusted their breathing on the spot to restore their soul power and physical strength. An hour later, the soul power of the three people had basically been restored. Everyone went to collect the loot. Xiaofei felt that the soul power of the Fire Bat King was fluctuating, so he walked to the Fire Bat King and dissected the Fire Bat King. Thinking that the Fire Bat King actually shoveled out a piece of head soul bone. Next, Huo Wu launched a large-scale flame, and instantly all the corpses were burned. A glimmer of crystal light appeared on the ground again. Xiaofei moved the light over, and it turned out to be a 2,000-year-old fire ant right arm soul bone. It's a pity that the age limit is too low, and none of the three of them looked down on it. The three of them quickly left the place and found another place to rest. Xiaofei gave the 30,000-year-old Fire Bat King's head soul bone to Huo Wuxuang. Now he is the only one without a head soul bone. Xiaofei and Huo Wu can't absorb it even if they want to. Huo Wuxuang nodded, sat on the ground and began to absorb the head soul bone. The three of them were so familiar with each other that there was no need to say any words of thanks. Chapter 48 Fire Spider. You are listening at novelfull.audio. While Huo Wuxuang was absorbing the soul bones, Huo Wu grabbed Xiaofei and said, "What are the wings on your back? Why haven't I told you about it before?" Xiaofei quickly covered his ears and begged for mercy. "Sister Huo Wu, don't do this, it's very painful." Huo Wu said fiercely, "If you know it hurts, tell me the secret quickly, or else I will tear off your ears." Helplessly, Xiaofei stretched out the flame bird wings on his back, and saw 12 sharp knife-like wings gradually extending from his back, each wing as sharp as a steel knife. Xiaofei said, "This is the attached soul bone and flame bird wings that I got when I got the second soul ring. And the claws on my hand are the flaming lion king palms that I got when I got the first soul ring. After years of tempering and upgrading, these two external soul bones are now 50,000 years old. I have never displayed these flame bird wings outside, and I have never used them before. Displayed in front of people." Huo Wu asked, "You actually have two external soul bones, how many soul bones do you still have on your body?" After saying that, Huo Wu looked around with the external soul bones, and even looked at them carefully. "Look at Xiaofei's body and touch it randomly from time to time," Xiaofei said quickly. "Sister Huo Wu, I only have one head soul bone and one right leg soul bone. Plus two external soul bones." Huo Wu said fiercely, "Why haven't I heard that you have a right leg soul bone?" Xiaofei said solemnly, "This right leg soul bone cannot be seen by anyone. It is 100,000-year-old soul bone. If anyone finds out about it, it will attract tidal Douluo to hunt down it. 100,000-year soul bone. One of the most precious treasures in the Soul Master world. So what soul bone skills does your right leg bone have?" "There are two skills, one can fly, and the other can heal injuries." After speaking, he held Huo Wu's arm with his hand, and saw a green light flashing on the soul bone, and Huo Wu's injury quickly recovered. After a while, it was completely fine. Huo Wu smiled and said, "This soul bone skill is pretty good. My sister won't be afraid of getting hurt in the future." Xiaofei shook his head. "The skills of this soul bone are a bit unbelievable, and the origin of the soul bone is problematic, so I will try to use it as little as possible. However, this soul bone provides me with very high vitality. So every time they can all absorb soul rings beyond levels." Huo Wu said, "No wonder your vitality is so tenacious." Xiaofei said with a serious face, "Sister Huo Wu, you must not tell other people about this soul bone, otherwise there will really be many tidal Douluo coming to fight us. Then we will be in trouble." Huo Wu looked at Xiaofei's serious expression and nodded seriously. This soul bone has a special skill, it is a healing skill. If someone is injured by then, Huo Wu can't bear it and asks Xiaofei to treat it. It will be troublesome to spread the word. So Xiaofei emphasized it to Huo Wu. One day later, Huo Wuxuang finally absorbed the soul bone. Obtain a very good soul bone skill, it can launch sonic attacks and has a certain mental impact, and this is a large-scale skill. It can be said that this skill is a magical skill, but it may be old or low. In the next half-month, the three of them continued walking into the immortal volcano. In the past 3 days, many spirit beasts attacked and sneak attacked the three of them, but they were all dodged by them. The three of them also killed many soul beasts, but none of them produced soul bones, including some 10,000-year-old soul beasts. The three of them felt that the closer they got to the core of the volcano, the higher the energy of the fire element in the air would be and the faster they would practice. However, they did not find any information similar to the Xinhua Sect map. Has the Xinhua Sect really been lost in history? On this day, the three of them set up a tent and were resting. Suddenly, Xiaofei felt something strange around him, but he couldn't tell what it was. Xiaofei carefully felt the fluctuations in soul power around him, and found that there was not even a trace of vitality fluctuations around him. This is very abnormal. Are there not even soul beasts around? Unless, Xiaofei decisively flew into the sky and looked around carefully. There was not even a soul beast within a radius of nearly 1 kilometer. In other words, there must be a very powerful soul beast nearby, making other soul beasts afraid to enter this area. Suddenly, Xiaofei felt a huge soul power fluctuation. This soul power fluctuation was actually where the three people's tent was. Xiaofei decisively flew towards the tent. Suddenly, a huge spider web flew out of the ground under the tent, directly wrapping the entire tent. The ground became loose, and a huge fire spider emerged from the ground. This fire spider was all red, and its 8 spider legs were like sharp blades. The tent was burned down, and Huo Wuxuang and Huo Wu were surrounded by dark red spider silk. The two of them kept struggling in the spider threads, even releasing soul skills. But the spider silk is only slightly damaged, and even if it is cut off, it will be repaired immediately by the fire spider. Moreover, the spider silk was obviously highly poisonous, and the two of them were already showing signs of being poisoned. The situation is very critical. Xiaofei quickly flies towards the fire spider. Now he can only kill the fire spider first and then call people slowly, otherwise he may also fall into it. Xiaofei launched his bone claws and wing bones to attack the fire spider. The fire spider seemed to have some thoughts. It used its spider silk to surround the two fire dancers, while using its spider legs to resist Xiaofei's attack. The fire spider's spider legs kept colliding with Xiaofei's bone claws, but there was basically no damage to the spider legs. This fire spider is probably close to 50,000 years old, and the fire spider is a hunter among soul beasts, and it is obvious that it has rich hunting experience. Xiaofei seized the opportunity to activate his 6th soul skill, and flew towards the fire spider with a flame slash. A pair of fire spider's front legs were cut off directly, and the fire spider actually used the impact force to bounce its body away. It is indeed a top predator soul beast, and its ability to avoid danger is also excellent. The fire spider screamed strangely and continued to fight Xiaofei with its other spider legs, spinning out spider silk for sneak attacks from time to time. Obviously, fire spider's only purpose now is to delay time. The longer the time goes, the more disadvantageous it will be for Xiaofei. Half an hour later, Wuxuang and Huo Wu were wrapped in spider silk and could hardly move. Fire spider was not in good condition either. Only 2 spider legs were left. His flexibility was not as good as before, and his close combat ability was greatly reduced. The remaining 6 legs of the fire spider have been cut off by Xiaofei. During the close combat, Xiaofei seized the opportunity and unleashed his 5th soul skill, Phoenix Sky Shaking Strike. Xiaofei's whole body was like a fire phoenix, hitting the fire spider's head directly. The whole head of the fire spider was blown into pieces. Xiaofei sat on the ground and exhaled loudly. It was obvious that Xiaofei's soul power was about to reach its limit now. And the fire spider finally fell to the ground. Xiaofei endured the lack of soul power and body aches, and quickly walked towards Huowu and Huowushuang, using steel claws to cut off the spider threads on their bodies one by one, and finally rescued Huowu and Huowushuang, but both of them failed. He was seriously injured and unconscious. Xiaofei activated the Blue-Silver Emperor Soul Bone skill to heal the two of them. 3 hours later, Xiaofei's soul power had been completely restored, and Huowushuang and Huowu slowly woke up. The two of them looked at each other, and then at Xiaofei and the fire spider corpse next to them. They were frightened for a while. If Xiaofei hadn't fought so hard, both of them might have been swallowed by the fire spider. After a whole day, Huowu and Huowushuang were mostly recovered and could move normally, and it was Xiaofei who brought out a large amount of antidote medicine. Otherwise, it will take longer for both of them to recover. For fire attribute soul masters, the fire poison of fire spider seems to be more difficult to eliminate than other toxins. Next came the stage where several people touched the corpse. The body of the fire spider was dissected, and a special soul bone was found on the back of the fire spider. This soul bone was crystal clear, emitting red light, and showing traces of fire attributes from time to time. Unlike the same spine, there are 4 miniature fire spider legs on each side of the spine. The 3 people couldn't help but widen their eyes when they saw this. Huowu ignored everyone's gaze and directly put away the soul bone. Seeing the dull eyes of the 2 people, he said directly, "Why, you have an opinion?" Xiaofei and Huowushuang shook their heads quickly. "How dare you have an opinion?" Chapter 49 Nether Python. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. By the time Huowu finished absorbing the fire spider's external soul bone, it was already a day later. Huowu's face glowed brightly and he said, "The externally attached soul bone is really good. I feel that my combat power is much stronger than before. In the future, even battle soul masters of the same level will not be my opponent." After saying that, Huowu injected his soul power into his external soul bone. 8 fire spider legs stretched out from his back and tore the clothes on Huowu's back. When the 8 fire-red spider legs are fully extended, each spider leg is more than 2 meters long and shines with a metallic luster. It is obvious that these spider legs are quite sharp. Moreover, the sharp points of the spider legs have a hint of dark red, which is obviously the poison of the fire spider. Suddenly, Huowu screamed and quickly covered his upper body. Huowushuang quickly used his clothes to block Huowu. Huowu blushed with embarrassment, while Huowushuang looked at Xiaofei with an unkind expression. Xiaofei looked like he still had something to say. Obviously he had just enjoyed what he saw. Huowu's face suddenly became filled with shame and anger. She put on her clothes, and then punched and kicked Xiaofei, causing Xiaofei to scream in agony. Afterwards, Huowu felt a sense of relief, while Xiaofei was bruised and swollen again. Huowu asked domineeringly, "Xiaofei, how is my sister's figure? Does she look good?" Xiaofei said tremblingly, "It's good-looking." Huowu's expression changed instantly. Xiaofei immediately said, "It doesn't look good." Huowu, huh? Xiaofei immediately received another punch on the face. Xiaofei and the other 3 slowly walked into the fire spider's lair and found countless animal and human corpses in the lair, as well as several soul guides. The fire spider was truly a top hunter. In the next month, Xiaofei and the others searched all over the interior of the immortal volcano, but there were no traces on the map. On the contrary, it was discovered that many top-level soul beasts, even 2 90,000-year-old soul beasts, were being hunted down very miserably. But there is no trace of the Xinhua sect. It seems that the 100,000-year-old soul beast has not been found. After searching for a month with no results, the 3 simply walked to the fire spider's lair and started practicing in the fire spider's lair. There are basically no soul beasts near the fire spider lair. Some of them were basically eaten by fire spiders, and this lair is underground. The fire element is very good and very quiet, which is very suitable for the 3 of them to practice. What's more, the 3 of them have basically been keeping tight for a while. Should relax a little. after 3 consecutive months of training in the fire spider's lair, the 3 of them each improved by 1 level. So he walked out of the fire spider's lair and continued his training. Speaking of soul power levels, Xiaofei is now level 65 and has not been upgraded for half a year, while Wushuang is level 67, and Huowu is level 68. It seems that Huowushuang is always 1 level lower than Huowu. When Huowushuang upgrades 1 level because of the fire bat's head soul bone, Huowu immediately absorbs the attached soul bone to upgrade 1 level. This made Huowushuang very depressed, and of course Xiaofei was even more depressed. Everyone else has moved up 2 levels, but I haven't moved up 1 level yet. Since absorbing lovesickness Heartbroken Red and 9th grade Longji, Huowu and Huowushuang's talents have exceeded the innate full soul power, and are estimated to be second only to Qianrenxue, who is at level 20. Since they have found nothing about the Xinhua sect so far, the 3 of them decided to go to the center of the immortal volcano to investigate. When Xiaofei and the other 3 arrived at the center of the volcano, they were already far away from the ground. I saw magma everywhere in the center, and the temperature of the magma exceeded 1,000 degrees. The air was also filled with the smell of explosion and destruction, which was very uncomfortable. There was a serious smell of danger everywhere. The 3 of them searched around the magma many times under great pressure, but found nothing. Instead, they found a few very old spirit beasts, because Xiaofei absorbed the inner elixir of the 10-headed blazing sun snake as the 6th soul ring. Xiaofei has a higher sensitivity to snakes. Suddenly Xiaofei felt that there seemed to be the smell of a snake nearby. However, nothing was found around the magma. Xiaofei suddenly thought of a terrible question. Xiaofei has been exploring around the magma, but has not carefully explored the inside of the magma. Xiaofei activated his soul bones and carefully sensed the anomalies in the magma. Suddenly, Xiaofei discovered that there were fluctuations in soul power in the magma, and this fluctuation in soul power was getting bigger and bigger. Xiaofei quickly pulled Huowu and Huowushuang away from the magma. However, a stream of magma suddenly burst out of the magma and shot directly at the 3 people. Xiaofei immediately took the 2 of them and flew away. Suddenly, a huge wave of soul power appeared in the magma, and a huge snake head was exposed in the magma. The snake head was about 10 meters in size, and there were 2 sarcomas on the head. Xiaofei said quickly. This is the nether python. Legend has it that it lives in magma. Because it has withstood the high temperature of magma for many years, its whole body has been tempered like iron. The scales on its body are as hard as steel, and 2 horns have appeared on his head. It is estimated that the strength is infinitely close to 100,000 years old. There is a trace of dragon blood in the body of the nether python. This kind of snake can transform into a python in 10,000 years, a dragon in 100,000 years, and a dragon in 1,000,000 years. It can be called the ultimate among snake soul beasts, and its potential is even higher than that of the heavenly one in the Star Doe forest. Green Bull Python. The 3 of them were silent. This legendary soul beast was far beyond their capabilities. The nether python seems to be very repulsive to Xiaofei and others, especially the aura of the 10-headed fierce sun snake that exudes from Xiaofei. The nether python attacked several times, but Xiaofei dodged them. Seeing that the attacks failed, he returned to the magma and ignored the 3 of them. Watching the nether python leave, the 3 of them breathed a sigh of relief. Xiaofei suddenly felt very strange. The 3 people in front searched around the magma, but they didn't seem to see the netherworld python's nest. After 2 hours, there was still no trace of the nether python. Xiaofei said, "No, although the nether python can survive in the magma, even if the nether python does not breathe, it is impossible to stay in the magma for a long time. And the nether python does not go home. Snakes have a strong sense of territory and generally do not leave the nest for a long distance. Is the nest of this snake under the magma?" Huowu and the others were shocked. Huowu said quickly, "What should we do now? We can't jump into the magma ourselves." Xiaofei thought for a while and said, "There must be a fault space around the magma, and this space should be somewhere under our feet. Since there is no magma covering it, the temperature of the ground here should be lower than that of the place with magma. Let's feel it carefully now." Where is the temperature relatively low 100 meters underground? That should be the place of the fault space. As long as the place is confirmed, we can dig directly in. Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang also nodded, because the three of them are fire attribute soul masters. They are very sensitive to flames and temperature, and they all have head soul bones, and their perception is far beyond that of ordinary soul masters. In the following time, the three of them tried their best to feel the temperature underground, but they didn't find anything for half a month, which made Xiaofei and the other two very distressed. Chapter 50, Divine Fire Sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just when the three of them felt lost, he thought for a while and said, maybe I was wrong. Such a fault space may be far more than 100 meters, which is far beyond the limit of our perception, and there is no way to do it. It is so far away from the ground that even a tidal Douluo may not be able to detect it, otherwise it would have been discovered long ago. Detection. Detection. Xiaofei muttered to himself. Xiaofei suddenly stood up and said, yes, we don't have to feel it, we just need to detect it. Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang looked at Xiaofei with a puzzled look. What's the difference? Xiaofei said excitedly, we really can't sense it now, but it doesn't mean that we can't understand the situation underground. The two still looked puzzled. Xiaofei said quickly, Huo Wushuang, can't your head soul bone send out sound waves to attack the enemy? Then you can directly attack the farthest point underground. Can't you detect the difference underground? The two suddenly realized. Huo Wushuang also thought about it, nodded and said, this is indeed feasible. Then Huo Wushuang conducted an experiment on the spot. Huo Wushuang activated the head soul bone skill, a sound wave directly attacked the ground, and then Huo Wushuang felt it carefully, nodded and said, it is indeed possible to feel the object being attacked. I can directly attack about 500 meters underground. If the target of the attack is different, I can feel it. For a period of time, Huo Wushuang turned into a detection machine, and Huo Wu and Xiaofei kept helping Huo Wushuang recover his soul power. Finally, after 4 days, Huo Wushuang suddenly said, this is it, I feel that my attack has missed, and there should be the broken space layer. When Huo Wushuang confirmed the direction, Xiaofei immediately used the external soul bone and turned into an excavator. The external soul bone can even cut through steel, let alone the stone layer. 2 hours later, the three came to the last stone layer. Now, the three of them have felt that it is empty. Xiaofei took out the detoxifying herbs for the two to take, but still felt uneasy, so he took out the Yoxiang Qiluo pin. Xiaofei held the Yoxiang Qiluo pin in his left hand and waved his steel claws in his right hand to open the last stone layer. As soon as the stone layer was cut, a hot breath came out from it, and the air seemed to really carry some kind of toxin. After all, it has been 10,000 years, and there are basically no plants under the volcano. When the three entered this space, their eyes were stunned. In front of them was a huge city, but the whole city was tilted at a 45-degree angle. Half of the city had been melted into the magma, and the other half was connected to the ground and tilted in the air, like a balance. Maybe it was because of good luck, the city gate was actually on the tilted side. The three walked towards the city gate. There were only some ruins left in the whole city, but the plaque of the sect was made of unknown material. It was not rotten, and the 3 words of Xinhua sect could be vaguely seen on it. After searching for so long, I finally found the place of Xinhua sect. I hope there are opportunities inside. The 3 of them walked into the sect, but there seemed to be nothing inside except a few broken stones. Xiaofei quickly took out the map and compared it carefully. The layout on the map was somewhat similar to that of the Xinhua sect. And there was only one place on the entire map that was highlighted. Obviously, this should be where the sect treasure was. People kept looking inside according to the direction of the map. Finally, the 3 of them arrived at the destination, and what they saw shocked them. They saw a huge tower in front of them, as high as 100 feet. This tower was already tilted like the ground, but the tilt angle was not that much. Xiaofei looked over carefully, and then he was surprised, because this tower seemed to be sealed except for the gate, and the whole tower was made of meteorite copper from outer space. Meteorite copper from outer space only exists in meteorites, and the number is very rare. The weight and value are not inferior to deep-sea silver. Such a huge tower is almost infinite in value. Moreover, how can such a large tower be made of meteorite copper? The words on the tower are clearly visible, Shenhua Tower. The three of them looked at the gate, which was also made of meteorite copper, and were a little speechless. With the current strength of Xiaofei and the other two, they could not destroy the gate of this tower at all. And in the center of the tower gate, there is a special gap, like a ball of flame. Just when Xiaofei was depressed, Wu shyly took out a similar thing from her body. Obviously, this is the key to the God Fire Tower. Xiaofei and Wu Shuang were depressed. Wu hurriedly said, "This key was given to me by my grandfather before I left. My grandfather himself doesn't know what it is used for. He only knows that it was left by the God Fire sect in the past." Wu opened the door with the key, but the door was obviously very heavy. The three of them tried their best to open a gap for one person to pass through. When the three of them entered, the door closed automatically. After the three entered the God Fire Tower, to their surprise, the inside of the God Fire Tower could be seen at a glance. There was actually an inclined ladder leading straight up. At the top of the inclined ladder, there was a bronze statue in the center. There was a ball of flame in the statue's hand. The God Fire sect has disappeared for 10,000 years. Could it be that the fire in the statue's hand has been there for 10,000 years? But at the same time, the three of them always felt that the ball of flame in the statue's hand was very attractive to them. When the three of them walked towards the inclined stairs, they felt a very strong pressure on the stairs, and the flames in the three people's bodies began to stir. Xiaofei looked around carefully and finally found a piece of text on the wall. The text described the origin and development of the Divine Fire Sect. More than 10,000 years ago, the first leader of the Divine Fire Sect was a brilliant genius. When he was young, he was determined to become a god, so he practiced hard and finally reached the limit of human beings, level 99 Peerless Douluo. However, the gap between level 99 and level 100 was like a natural barrier blocking his progress. In the end, he came up with a plan. When all the members of the family moved into the undying volcano, he established the Divine Fire Sect. Then he mobilized all the resources to build this Divine Fire Tower made of all meteorite copper. He wanted to use the power of the Divine Fire Tower and the veins of the undying volcano to impact the 100th level. He succeeded halfway. He successfully crossed the 99th level, but did not become the 100th level. Because he did not have a god position, nor did he inherit any gods. But he hoped that future generations could achieve his goal and achieve the 100th level. It was he who sacrificed all his abilities in his life into a wisp of flame in the hands of the bronze statue. The flame here has transcended the scope of ordinary fire and has become a wisp of divine fire. Since then, the Divine Fire Tower has been the place of practice for generations of clansmen. And also the place of inheritance. Among all the clan leaders of all generations, if they reached level 99, they would sacrifice their souls and abilities to this divine fire. However, this place of inheritance also attracted the covetousness of powerful people from the outside world. The last clan leader fought a great battle with the enemy, and in the end, both sides were defeated, resulting in the eruption of the undead volcano. In the end, the Divine Fire clan was covered by the volcano and disappeared in the long river of history.